I will now call Group 21 to the front. Judi Hayes is present. Judi, there you are. But Judge Mark Miller was unable to attend and will appear in a previously recorded Zoom interview where he answered the same questions from me. Okay, then go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Long-time listener, first-time caller. It feels surreal to introduce myself to the League of Women Voters. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I'm honored to address the League, of which I've been a member for so many years. My name is Judi Garabo Hayes, and I'm running for County Judge in Group 21, Orange County. As a longtime League member, you know me as an advocate for public education, for disability, generally a community member who has served in a variety of roles. But I'm also a lawyer. I grew up here. I went to Oak Ridge High School. I graduated from Florida State University and Florida State University College of Law. Go Noles. Excited to send a child there again this year. While I was there, I also had the honor of working with Justice Wells. I was a clerk for Justice Harry Lee Anstead at the Florida Supreme Court in 1998. When I graduated, I came back home to Orlando and started practicing law. I served in a variety of different roles, all in civil litigation for many years. The bulk of my career was with Greenberg Traurig, doing litigation in their litigation department. If you're not a lawyer, that means that I was in court all the time. I took some time off to raise children, during which I was very involved with the community. I have always practiced part-time. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I have more time. And I'm very, very excited about this opportunity to step back in. Thank you.
All right. And let me ask you, we're just going to do one, I will ask you all your questions, and then we'll just play that video. Okay. All right, a minute and 30 seconds. Have you ever been arrested or had a client file a bar complaint against you or Supreme Court taken any disciplinary actions against you?
No, no, and no. I don't think I've ever had so much as a late library book. So that is an unequivocal no.
Okay. 1 minute. What life experiences have prepared you to be a judge?
Thank you. So in addition to having practiced law for 27 years now, what I've been doing a lot for the last several years is what's called contract work, and I have a service that assigns me cases, and it's all in the courtroom. And so I've been in county court quite a bit doing collections, evictions, that kind of work. I also, at home, referee between a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old boy and 2 rescued Jack Russell Terriers. So if that doesn't qualify me to be a judge, I don't know what does. But in actuality, I do have a variety of experience in every phase of litigation, in every area of litigation, from employment to intellectual property, business litigation, and consumer disputes.
All right, thank you. 1 minute. How would you handle a case in which your sympathies are with the defendant, but the law requires another result? And do you feel that a judge should follow their own moral compass?
I would handle a situation like that professionally, as the position deserves, applying the law in an equal and fair manner. You know, your personal feelings aside, it's very important as a judge to give the air of impartiality so that the community feels comfortable with the fairness that you are imparting as justice. You know, there's time to kind of reflect on your own personal feelings as far as that is concerned once you're not on the bench. But I think that it's of the utmost importance to decide cases in any event in accordance with the law, without fear or favor, and without, you know, imposing your own moral preferences.
All right, this is 1 minute. Describe the extent of your law practice and other legal experiences to help you manage a heavy caseload, mostly civil, but also criminal.
Okay, thank you. So as a young lawyer, when I started out, I was doing personal injury defense, and a lot of young lawyers start doing that because it's easy to get a job. But there were times when I was managing caseloads of upwards of 100, 150 cases at a time. And as a young lawyer, sometimes you don't have support staff because the senior partners think that you don't need it. So I was able to manage that very efficiently in terms of managing my dockets and not missing deadlines and being able to give each case the time and energy that it deserves. So I think that my time management skills have really developed very well in terms of caseload management. And I feel like in terms of the courts, we are kind of facing a budget crisis. In fact, the league heard just a couple months ago from the clerk of the court and the chief justice about the budget crisis that we're facing and how courtroom resources have been strained. And so keeping that challenge in mind, I think that I have the ability to manage my caseload as efficiently as possible. Thank you.
All right, this is 1 minute and 30 seconds. In a criminal court sentencing of 2 co-defendants who committed a serious misdemeanor crime, one is a 30-year-old with a criminal record, and the other is a 19-year-old with no record, how would you sentence each person?
In accordance with the guidelines that are set forth, and I think that...
I don't believe there's guidelines in county court. Are there now guidelines?
There are not.
There are
Okay.
none.
Oh, okay. Well, see, we're all learning something here today. So I would balance the equities. And like one of the previous candidates had said, you know, taking into account all of the evidence that is of record and weighing them very carefully and taking into account all of the external factors that go into that to arrive at a very just and fair resolution.
All right, thank you. And you can return to your seat.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll play the video for Judge Miller. Mr. Miller, this is a 1 minute and 30 second, a 90-second question. This is your chance to give an opening statement. We will start, we've already started with Judi Hayes, and now it's your turn, so please start.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for understanding why I could not be there in person today, but I truly appreciate the opportunity to still be part of this conversation, as well as the opportunity to address you today. I am honored to appear before you and seek to retain my seat as a county court judge for Orange County. I respectfully ask for your support based on my career dedication to public service, a commitment to the rule of law, a record of fairness, integrity, and judicial independence. Throughout my professional life, I've had the privilege of serving as a teacher, as a soldier in the United States Army, as a prosecutor, a defense attorney, a civil litigator, and now as a judge. These experiences have provided me with a broad perspective of our justice system and have reinforced the principles that guide me each day. They are the respect for the law, equal justice for all, and the importance of treating every individual who appears before the court with dignity and impartiality. As a judge, I understand public confidence in our courts depends on decisions being based solely on the facts, the law, and the Constitution. My responsibility is not to advocate for a particular outcome, but to ensure that every individual that appears in my court receives a fair hearing before an impartial judge. I approach this responsibility with diligence, preparation, and humility. The judiciary functions best when it's comprised of experienced jurists who are committed to the judicial.
All right, thank you very much. The next question is a 1 minute question. Have you ever been arrested or charged with any kind of crime, or has the Florida Bar or the Supreme Court filed any kind of complaint or taken any disciplinary action against you?
No, I've never been arrested. I have never been disciplined by the Florida Bar or the Supreme Court.
All right, thank you. Number 3, this is a 1 minute. What life experiences has best prepared you to be a judge?
The life experience that has best prepared me to be a judge would have to go to my commitment to public service. I've spent the majority of my life working in public service, but also in my legal career, I've experienced a broad perspective on pretty much every aspect of law that a judge has to face. The ability to have appeared in front of many judges has given me the opportunity to see judges that have an understanding of how the courts should be run impartially and those that bring in a personal bias. So based on my personal experiences through my professional and my personal life, I believe that combination and that broad perspective adequately assists me in being a fair and impartial judge.
All right, thank you very much. Number 4, 1 minute. How would you handle a case in which your sympathies are for the defendant, but the law requires another result? And do you feel that judges should follow their own moral compass?
I do not feel that judges should follow their own moral compass. A judge, their role is to be a fair and impartial trier of the law. When you're sitting as a judge, you have to follow, it's your responsibility to follow the law and not be influenced by outside forces. That includes personal bias or a feeling of sympathy. However, we are all human. So there are certain times where you look at a situation, but ultimately it's a judge's responsibility to follow the law, not to be an advocate for one side or the other, and to fair and justly apply those laws to the situation, or be it civil or criminal.
All right, thank you very much. Next question it's a 1 minute question. Describe the extent of your law practice and other legal experience to be able to manage and decide mostly civil cases, but also criminal cases.
I started off my career as a civil attorney in Tennessee. I'm a member of the Tennessee bar as well as the Florida bar. After a year of practicing in Tennessee, I came to Florida, where I served as a criminal prosecutor in the Ninth Judicial Circuit. When I left the state attorney's office, I became a criminal defense attorney, and I practiced criminal defense law for quite some time. When my wife was pregnant, I then became corporate civil litigator for JPMorgan Chase and Bank of America. At that time, I took the opportunity to go into national service, where I served as a federal prosecutor prosecuting cases involving national security. When I left federal service, I returned to Central Florida, where I was serving as a managing attorney doing medical malpractice and birth injury law prior to taking the bench with Morgan & Morgan.
All right, thank you very much. This is a minute and a half, 90 seconds. In a criminal court sentencing, 2 defendants committed a serious misdemeanor property crime. One is a 30-year-old man with a criminal record, and the other is a 19-year-old with no record. How would you sentence each of those defendants?
When you look at the sentencing guidelines, one, I believe that there is discretion for the court in regards to you look at criminal history. Whenever a conviction comes back, the process is that you receive a sentencing recommendation from the state attorney's office, and you receive an argument from the defense outlining any mitigating factors. And it's the judge's responsibility to look at the recommendation of the state as well as the mitigation from the defense. So if you are looking at an individual that has a vastly extensive criminal history compared to somebody who has no criminal history, I think that does have to be taken into consideration. And it's not especially if there's a great variation as far as age goes, but those are all indicators that would have to be brought up in the sentencing phase after a conviction has been returned by a jury.
All right, well, thank you very much, and this now concludes your questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
At this time.